Hi, I'm Alyssa Thoms, and I'm the administrator at Harvestime Church in Eau Claire. Today is day 26 out of 40 days of fasting. Today's theme is comparison. But actually, I wanted to just say in this chapter that I read, there were actually two topics that I wanted to touch on. I'm going to kind of go back and forth because I want to just introduce them. The first one being, Jesus enjoys your companionship. The second one being comparison to those who seem closer to him. So from you to those who seem closer to them and to him and you. Jesus loves a relationship with us just as much as we love that relationship with him. This quote came out of the book, "I know that Jesus' presence is valuable to us, but we rarely consider the possibility that our presence is valuable to him." So Jesus, he treasures your companionship, not just the other way around, not just you looking towards him and he's just kind of throwing you a bone every so often. He values a relationship with you. In the case of the Garden of Gethsemane, which was in this chapter, the disciples' alert presence could have been a comfort to Jesus in that time of sorrow. But that wasn't the only time that Jesus showed that he valued the relationship with his disciples. They had meals together, they prayed together, they spent time together. He gave them power to heal and perform miracles. Like he was invested in their lives, and he was a part of a lot of what they did in their daily life during those 3 years and beyond. I mean, they continued to serve Jesus beyond, most of them. Could Jesus have done this all by himself? Yeah, he's God. He certainly could have. It could have looked a different way, and he could have done this all by himself, but he chose not to. He did it with them. He's doing it with you. He chooses companionship with you. The other thing I wanted to touch on, Jesus draws close to people who are in sorrow when they're seeking towards him for comfort, right? Matthew 26:36 through 46. This is that passage about prayer. Jesus praying in the garden. So the same story. He asked his disciples for their active support. Be praying with me over here while I pray. And they didn't really pull through on that. They were so deeply laden with sorrow that they fell asleep a few times. I think they were just exhausted. But he asked for their active support more than any other prior moment in their history together. And this quote came out of the book, "I, like the disciples, have defaulted to my pillow instead of to prayer in a denial-laden hope that somehow all will be set right when I open my eyes." Where you're just so exhausted of crying yourself to sleep that you cry yourself to sleep praying, and you just dream, maybe it all will be right when I wake up. Maybe this is a dream. But Jesus asked for their support. He wanted him there in the sorrow with him as he also was in sorrow. So with these two ideas, there are two questions to consider. Have you seen Jesus show that he also enjoys your friendship? Is there any stories? And I can think of one in my personal life, and it's quick, it's simple, and it's kind of it's not the most mind-blowing testimony I can give you, but I always think of it because it reminds me that Jesus appreciates our friendship. Him and I have a friendship, and I think of when I was a kid in middle school, I went to Camp Gray, which is a Christian camp. I always went with my cousin Becky, and we were late one year getting there for the first day of camp, and we were frantic. We're like, we're not going to get a top bunk. She said, everybody that gets there first gets to pick their first choice in bed, and they always pick the top bunk. There's no way. We're late. We're never going to get the top bunk. So I said a little prayer, and I said, God, please let us get a top bunk. I think we were, it was just a silly prayer, but it meant so much to us that we got this top bunk. And we get there and we get first choice in top bunk. Who knows if that meant anything to anybody else, but it meant something to me, and it meant something to Becky. And it was a show to me that he cares about these silly little things that he cares about these silly little things that I care about, right? So how has God shown his desire for friendship with you in those kind of ways? How has he shown up? The second question, do you ever feel hurt when you see people that seem closer to God than you are? When you're considering kind of that hurt and that jealousy you might experience when you see people that are constantly like in this active involvement with him, prayer and just hearing from him, and that little bit of jealousy or hurt that comes with that. Just think about this quote, because you don't know where those people are. Cease determining the value of your reality by the presence of others' reality. Cease determining the value of your reality based on the perception of others' reality. Bless and pray specifically for those who appear closer in. They may be overwhelmed with sorrow. Thank you for joining us today.